Hello my friends, I'm Delta, and today, if you remember one of my previous videos, I did a two-part episode on Metroplex. In the video, I had to split up into two parts because he was a pretty big figure, and I can assure you, his Decepticon counterpart will not fare any different. My god, is this box big. So now we're in the actual position where I can actually open the box and... Get the fuck out of here, over YouTube. Getting into the actual box. It's as big as Metroplex because he's the Decepticon counterpart. Now, I will admit, this entire thing is massive. Rightfully so. On the side of the box, you can see a bunch of characters I don't know. The only one I can really tell is animated Optimus Prime, and then tied away from himself there. Going on to the... I will not go into the back of the box because that's got my shipping information on it, and I ain't fucking talk to myself, piss off. You would be able to see it, but just see Galvatron there. Here's the back of the box. I took off the shipping instructions as much as I could because I'm not going to dox myself for no reason. As nice as this looks, 23 steps and 10 steps, it doesn't sound like a lot. It ain't. But considering the fact that you can split off into 3 separate ships down to 3 separate modes, and then slightly change it to combine with a Galvatron, that's amazing. I'm going to go straight into the proper unboxing, but you won't really be able to see much because I don't have good lighting in here. No, I didn't open this prior because, well, like, you'd see this tape, you'd think, oh, he opened it beforehand. No, I didn't. It came like this. So opening it, pretty much the exact same as Metroplex. Move out of the way, dickhead. I hate this lighting. Come on. So pretty much opens just like Metroplex. So, just like Metroplex, he has the instructions, and he pretty much comes like Optimus Prime does when he's dead. Get into these small tool things. Weird cigarette. Block. Block. Weed. I'm going to open those on the table. We're going straight into the actual unboxing. So, on the legs, this is going to be incredibly stuffed, so sorry for that. Things off. Empty. You have this entire section. So they tap together. That looks really nice. Big thing. Nothing in the feet part. The entire body and the head. His mouth doesn't open. No, that's fine. And then we'll take this part out. Nothing in there. And then lets me take out the hands if they would. Come on out. There's the fans, they come out, and we'll go back to the table for a proper look at them. Okay, so before we actually go into Tidal Wave, in Tidal we're going to open whatever the hell these four little things were. Trying to cut yourself, because that can happen. Right, roll out. Roll it out. We've got four little caps. I have no idea what these are. Look like little mushroom things. Then we go to this flat one. Again, don't cut yourself. I will, because I'm a professional. Open. Okay, little turret part. Anything else in there? Nope, so just get two little swiveling turrets. They go into two fat things. These might be the same things. Okay, so we've got big cannons. Big cannons actually hinge. You can actually lock onto things. Then you get two of those for this. Nothing else. No. Put this knife down. And then the final one is the exact same that we got, so two turrets. Okay, now as cool as these look, without the instructions you have no idea where these go. And like always, the instructions are a bloody fold out there. This is strange. Legal information is smaller this time. Why can't they just make it that small every time? Okay, so we start off with the main big body. So in here, we plug them into. So we plug these parts into the four little holes in the main body. Yeah, so the big square parts, they need to go on the inside of the chest, so the yellow parts are facing outwards. Plug these four in. And then they should be able to swivel around a little bit. Next, you get the four main cannons. You plug them into the big four parts on him. They rotate around really nicely. Although you don't want to shoot him in the dick. Then lastly, for the two small turrets, flip them around, and there's two final pegs there. These plug in facing upwards. Slightly off to the side. There we go. So effectively, those were two smaller versions of these ones. You can actually see there's some wheels in the back. Then, to combine, we need to take the bottom leg parts. So I'm going to go from this side, this part one. You have to flip this out, I believe. Oh. Let me just untap this like that. Flip that part out. This. So this one, flip this up. Like so. And the next part is flip these back down, peg everything in, and this folds back up. And now for the harder part, we have to attach. Let me move that way. We have to attach the legs onto the body. So you have to slide it so, and do it on. So to do it on both sides. Get in, dickhead. Okay, now once you've got both of the legs tabbed in, you can't see because my camera's god awful and it doesn't pick up any dark colours apparently. So once they've tabbed in, which is a little bit of an arse ache, I'm just gonna be honest with you. So when it comes to the feet, we pull up these parts, and there's another tab that flips inwards like so. Then these feet parts extend, back parts lie flat, so the feet are completely done now. And then we move on to the final two parts, that are the arms. This one that has the, so to speak, right half of the Decepticon logo, even though it's on the left side for you, it'll be the right for him. You have to make sure the thumb is down like this. They both have a tab here you flip out, and do that on both sides. A square peg on each side, and that corresponding arm just slides in like so. That is how you build Tidal Wave. He does look a lot smaller than Metroplex, and in fact, let me bring Metroplex in for the size comparison. These are standing at the exact same height. I cannot. Okay, so one, I can't fit both of them on the same bloody screen, but just know for now, Metroplex is bigger. Now, when it comes to the posability, it is going to be kind of hard to do him because he's such a big figure, but I can go. The head cannot look up or down. You can look down, but that's, I think that would be more for the transformation, but you know, to each your own. You can rotate his head full 360. He can't open his mouth, which is unfortunate. As I said before, these little turrets can move around. They can aim and fire. Well, not really fire, but you know, they can point around. You can full 360 at the arm. The arm can move out that far. Let me just. So the actual arm can extend that far, but if you work this rotation as well, you can pretty much go all the way around. Bend at the elbow. You can kind of open this up. I think that's more for the transformation. Well, open that, but that's more for the transformation. It actually has opening thumb, rotation there. Doesn't have individual fingers, but he can move his hand like this. That's the thing, I kind of wish it was like Metroplex, where his hand can kind of open up more. You've got his crotch turrets. Then when it comes to this, can this part flip up? Yeah, okay, so it can lift up that far. So can the back arse lifts up a lot more. So the leg can go. If I can actually work it properly. Back that far, so that's amazing. It does have a thigh rotation, which is good. His leg can kick that far out. Nothing amazing. Just do that. How good is this spread? Needless to say, his spread is godly. The rotations here actually they feel weaker than Metroplex, but arguably, considering I've played with Metroplex, that's a fucking godsend. I'm just being honest. He does have a... I should probably look at leg a little bit. It does have a really nice bend. It goes that far. It does have a pivot. Ooh. Like that pivot goes a long way. Overall, his size, the posability, they're all really lovely. I can't really think of any negative things to say apart from the hands. Instead of splitting out like this for the fingers, I wish it was more like Metroplex, where it's all connected together so you can move the hands as one. Now, to prepare him to transform into the vehicles or the other modes, first of all you need... Let's see, is there anything? No. Okay, so you just have to leverage it out. No. So grip it and rip it. I really hope these tabs hold up, because that is going to be one part I can see being an issue. If you pull too hard and you might accidentally break something. These do feel strong, but it's just getting it out. That one felt a lot better than normally so. And then when it comes to doing the legs, you have to... Where's this one, right? So you have to push this leg out like this instead of pushing in like this, like I was doing, like a complete another idiot. So do the... Did I do it again? Yeah, I did. Do the exact same on the other side. Body remains as it is. When it comes to the legs, you just flip up the back parts of the heels, and that is all parts ready to go into transformation. So we're going to start with part A, as it's called in the instructions, but it's just mainly the main body. We're going to untap the parts that were the shoulders on either side. So this just completely rotates up. Like so. So it should look something like this. And go on to what was the legs. Leg rotation. You flip these all the way. Come on. As far as they go. Come on. As far as they go, without trying to snag your fingers in them. Then you have to extend the entirety of the body. I think it's easier if I just lift this part up and extend like this, so you should see a strut facing like that. You then rotate it 180, make sure all the tabs line up, and you just then you fold it back down. That should tab in, and then these parts should tab in like that. And that is part A done. That is a really lovely looking ship. And honestly, like, sure, you might say this looks dumb, but he was part of a full fleet in the show. This is part of the Dark Fleet. Sure, as stupid as this might look, I enjoy it. It looks like a proper armada battleship. Okay, now we go on to part B, which were the legs. Now, you should start off with the things that were the back heels flipped up. And then you close down the foot. That should tabs in to the heel. And then you flip up and collapse. And you fold these back up as well. So once you've gone like this, you then flip out these tabs, flip them down until they tab in to where the feet You then have to line up these tabs together. Make sure everything's lined up. Plug them in if they can. And if they want to, I have to put in a little bit of effort into that, and then you fold out these wings like so. And as dumb as this looks, again, honestly I like it. It looks like a big, fat dropship. And for a Decepticon fleet, you'd expect there to be a massive dropship. And the amount of thruster details in the back, that just looks amazing. I cannot argue with the beauty of this. And now for part C, we start off with the arms. Not how they were in Robot Mode, you have to flip them around. And then you have to close up the arm pegs. You then rotate this around. That's a friction joint. I did not notice that in the Robot Mode, so that's a bicep rotation. It's really tight, but it's not a ratchet joint. A bit disappointing, but the amount of fucking pressure you need on that, Jesus. You then lift up the fingers, and then you rotate these parts around, like so, and then you close it back up. You then nurse the tabs together, you then tap everything together like so. You then flip up a panel here and an entire command bridge that doesn't want to come out. Comes out here. That plugs in, and that's the end of part C. I do love the massive Decepticon logo at the front. This looks like a massive aircraft carrier. If this came with, like, even if it came with like shit sprues, you had to cut out unpainted plastic airplanes onto it, I'd still prefer that, so I can actually have something populating the deck on here. But as an aircraft carrier, I mean, obviously it's got big ass hands underneath, which, you know, you can't really avoid that. It looks nice. It looks like how it should be. It's just an aircraft carrier. Now combining into the big ass ship, it's going to be a little bit more involved. So first of all, you untab everything on here and try and flip it up like so, and then you split. Move this out of the way. I'll just put them like that. And there's a section in the aircraft carrier that's just a hole, and that should go and fit into the head. And then you just rotate the shoulders up like this. And you just so that should tab in like that. Same on the other side, like that. And then this should tab back down into all the tabs. I said into all the tabs, dickhead. Then we go on to part B, where we have to untab these parts. These are just relatively easily. These tabs on either side should flip out, just there. You might be able to see this, but the small little tabs on the front of here that should tab into. And so you see, you can't really see there's two tabs here. So the little tab should connect into there when you're pairing it up. Now, the entire thing is goddamn massive. Huge. Big. It's a long thing. And honestly, one, it just looks impressive. And it being an entire ship, you can pick up and swoosh around, it holds together really solidly as well. So big to the point I actually feel winded trying to hold this thing up. Okay, now I've back in the robot mode just so it makes it easier to show off what needs to be done. Come to the arms, and where the fingers flip out, you have to take this and you pull it out. So it pulls out this way. You get this. You have to do it on both sides. Then on the back, you have to take out this fake back, if you can get it easy like that. Then moving down to the legs, you have to flip out the wings like you would going into vehicle, but then you completely detach these sections. Once those are out, and once those parts are out, you have to come back to the front and flip out the leg panels, and there's something on the inside you can unplug. Do that on both sides and close that up, and then these will spin around and become, well, effectively new hands. As weird as the mitten look is, this will work in our favour at some point. Now the parts we removed, we can actually do something to them and turn them into micro versions of their individual counterparts. So for the part we pulled out from the chest, we untab these parts and flip them down like so, and there's two little pegs that these parts plug into right there, and that's generally what it is. Now you'd expect this to be able to turn into a miniature version of bigger tidal wave. Unfortunately, he only has this part and doesn't have an actual head, plus these parts don't go up to where they should be. So as good as it would be, unfortunately it won't happen. Now we go to the individual arm parts. You have to flip up this part on both sides, like so. Fold it down. These parts will twist around. And then simply they just plug together and extend this more until it closes on into itself. So they combine like this, and they just turn into a small airstrip. Come on, Tim, like the other one would. Now go to the parts that came out from the legs. These parts, plain and simply, just tap together like the legs, and the parts that came out from the other side onto the platform like, now we're going lined up first, but like this, and all three are now combined into their full mode. All three of these combine with Megatron or Armada Galvatron to effectively become a stronger part for him. Unfortunately, I don't have him, so I can't really do it. And what's annoying is I can't build a full version of a figure. Actually, can I? And now we're going to go into the base mode. And I don't mean robot mode, I mean the actual base mode. So, similar to going into vehicle or whatever mode, you fold up the feet how you usually would. You basically do the feet exactly how you would going into vehicle. Tap it all together. Then you twist. Yeah, you can see how I don't like doing things on a tiny desk. So you twist the arms 180 ends up like this, and then these will rotate all the way up. Like so. So now, when it comes to the hands, you have to rotate it around like so. And then these will bend upwards. Like this. Next, when it comes to the legs, you have to spread them. Like this. Now. And then there's a bend, complete 90 degrees, right there. Put this tape like this. So then this entire part tabs and folds up, if you would be so kind. Thank you very much. It rotates 180, and then the actual head should rotate 180, and when you push this down, it should, the head will tab in to that part. It should look like that. Next, you take off the turrets from the chest, and there are 4 holes that you will replace them in. Like so. Then you get the part that we took from the back, just like this, and there should be a hole in the back here that will plug into this tab, like that, like that. And you get the small aircraft carrier, you split it in half like this, and underneath one of these lugs there should be a small hole right here. That tabs onto the one with the command deck, the completely flat one. Okay, so you have to, the small peg you have to untab, and this inserts into the thruster gun finger hand thing. And then finally we get these parts flip out these small pegs, and on either side of the arm, so there's a peg near the wheel on this side that pegs into there. Around here, well, that just plugs into the plug near the wheel as well, I expect. Like that. And here we have the full base mode. The only thing is, I don't know where these feet part come into play, so find anywhere they can go. Put these parts up. Anyway, you can find that looks somewhat like a place they can fit into. Here is the finished base mode. As nice as this looks, it is way too big to display for me. I mean, it quite literally takes up my entire desk. I cannot comfortably fit this anywhere. I will probably keep him in robot mode somewhere, but I don't know where. Or I might just split him up into the 3 separate ships and keep him on my shelf. Now, I absolutely love this entire thing. from hidden panels you can pull out extra parts to miniature versions of the bigger ships. It's just amazing. Like, I can completely remove this, open this, and in just quite literally just a few seconds, I have a micro version of the main battleship. And still, I can swoosh this around, make fun. I can put it in here to make it look like a hangar. The possibilities with this toy is pretty much endless, just like Metroplex. The only difference is Metroplex isn't a combiner. This is. This is a Titan class combiner that I didn't even know existed. If you can, now, usually this is £230. I got this for 155. 60 quid off. If you can get it for that much off, I highly recommend getting it. This is an amazing figure, and the only thing now is, now that I have Metroplex's evil counterpart, I'm pretty sure they're going to fight now. And whoever wins now, they're going to be my main editor. Hopefully this Metroplex actually does a decent job.